I'm in my favorite city in Ukraine, the city of Nikolaev. I can't possibly put into words how relaxed and at home I feel. Just look over my shoulder at the number of beautiful women that came out tonight. I think we have over 350 women who are in the room right now. And it's a social environment that is just perfect for creating something really, really special. This is what I came for. This is what I need. There will be relationships that are created tonight. Undoubtedly, there will be a few that are life-defining. I just wanted to share the energy and the buzz in this beautiful environment with you. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome. My name is Bud. This is our weekly Monday National Dating and Marriage webcast. If you're here for the first time, thanks for joining us. We've been doing this a long time, man. Where you been? Just glad you're here. We've been doing conference call on Monday nights or a live webcast like this since 2001. So a long time we've been doing this, and we put time aside every week to answer your questions because we know that a lot of you are out there lurking around our site, looking at it, intrigued by it, wondering how in the world could this be real? How can so many very, very beautiful women be interested, be alone and lonely, be interested in meeting an international guy for love and marriage and that sort of thing? So you're just kind of wondering, what is this all about? Is it legit? Can I do this? And would like to answer your questions around all of that in the next 60 minutes. There's a green box right above me that says you can text me your questions, and if you click that box and text me your question, I'll see it on my admin panel and I'll read it aloud for you and I'll answer it for everybody. How's that? So you'll hear your question getting answered and you can take that information, and I hope that it helps to move you forward. It's very exciting what we do, guys. Look at this video, man. This is we're going to see some great video tonight. The guy behind the scenes, his name is Kirk. None of this would be the least bit possible without him. And man, when I met Kirk, I got to tell you, man, my passion for what I do just doubled because he enabled me to get out in front of you guys like this. So we're going to be looking at video footage from our social parties, our singles parties, which we've been hosting for almost 25 years all over the world. We'll see a lot. We'll go around the world a little bit tonight. Kirk's always got some good stuff on deck for us. Right now we're looking at video footage from a recent tour in Ukraine. When you watch the video footage, there are a few things I want you to keep an eye out for, right? I want you to look at The body language, the eye contact, the way men and women are looking at each other, how they're sitting in close proximity, how happy they are to have someone to talk to, how engaged they are, how friendly and flirty and fun the whole thing looks. And there's a little cuddling, a little touching, and just people who have met each other who are clearly flirting and having a good time in this environment. Which is, let me tell you something, when we throw a social, we put a lot into it. Throwing a social party for you guys is like throwing a wedding reception. There are a lot of people involved. There's food, there's alcohol, there's entertainment, there's planning. And the end result is that you go to a party, you have a tremendous amount of fun. Staff has a great amount of fun. The women who are there are having tremendous fun. And I have fun just watching you guys, meeting these women, because I meet these women and they tell me how lonely they are and how serious they are and how they want a man for romantic and healthy reasons, and how there's such a shortage of serious men where they are, and I just want to bring more and more men, as many as possible, into their environment so they have a chance to meet them. So this is what we're looking at, what we're talking about tonight. Those of you in Texas who came out to the seminars over the weekend, it was a lot of fun, and I really, really appreciate you guys, man. That barbecue in Texas, guys, my God. My goodness, that was tasty. Guys, we got a lot coming up. Speaking of seminars, those of you in the Midwest, in the Chicago and Milwaukee area, you know what? There was a couple of gentlemen who came to my seminars this weekend. I did one in San Antonio. I did one in Houston. I had a guy fly in from California to my Houston seminar. I had another guy fly down from Denver to my San Antonio seminar. I mean, we've had this before. I've had guys fly in from quite far away just to have the opportunity to sit and hear it straight for 4 hours, what this is, the opportunity, and what it offers you. So that was really cool. If you can get to Chicago or get to Milwaukee, and I'll tell you what, you may be out of town, you may be from another state, but you can get some great flights this time of year to Milwaukee or to Chicago. And if you can get there on the 25th and the 26th, 25th, let's make sure I get it right before I tell everybody what I'm doing. All right, the 25th is Chicago and the 26th will be Milwaukee. So if you want to come to Chicago on the 25th, or Milwaukee on the 26th, I will be hosting a free international dating seminar for 4 hours in each city. You are going to learn everything you wanted to know and more about these women, who they are, why they're here, and why they want to meet you so very, very badly. Sometimes, guys, you're lonely, or maybe you're not lonely. You can date, but you're just not finding the quality of the person you're after. And it's just not happening in your community for whatever reason, right? But we have all these wonderful resources and technology available to us. Sometimes you feel just in your hometown that there's not a lot of value to you, right? Just nobody's responding to you or your message or your persona or what you have to offer. And we tend to convince ourselves that we have no value. We tend to think, I just don't have something that women are interested in, because we, of course, are trying to date in our culture. What's interesting is that some of the men that I've met who feel like they have absolutely nothing to offer women at all anywhere get on a plane, travel with us, and they find out they have everything that women from other countries and other cultures are so desperate to find, are looking for so intensely. So you may feel like you're not getting the results that you want in Chicago or Milwaukee or wherever you are, but you put yourself in this video, and guys, I'm telling you, that is a very real proposition, because some of the men in the video you're watching right now were men that I met at seminars in previous years who came to the seminar, maybe one of John's seminars. John does a great seminar as well, right? So maybe you came to one of our seminars, you made a deposit, decided you were going to go, at the very least have a great vacation, maybe meet somebody special. The next thing you know, you're in that environment right there, the one you guys are watching, that specific environment. That's not a staged event, guys. That is a real social party, and you could put yourself right in it. We see a lot of the same women year after year. We see new women as well, but there aren't enough men going. And we have thousands of women in every city that we go to around the world that want to come out and meet you. So there's no shortage of high numbers of women that want to meet you specifically. Dude, you listening to my voice and watching me right now. So if you come to my international dating seminar in Chicago or in Milwaukee on the 25th or the 26th respectively, from 11 to 3 each day, I will tell you all about it. I will break it down with great detail and great information. We'll watch 4 hours of video. We'll break down just in the background, you know what I'm talking about. But we'll take some time out to look at what's going on in the video, and I'll show you, this is the interpreter, this is the client, this is how that whole dynamic works. These are people who just met. Look how much fun they're having. We'll talk about what happens before, after, and around the social events on our tour, so you'll know exactly what our program is and what it has to offer you. And you can decide if it's something you want to participate in. And if it is, we'll save you some money and give you lots of reason to go. Put yourself in this environment and get your girl. Chicago, May 25th, Milwaukee, May 26th. Guys, if you're in Denver, if you're in St. Louis, if you're anywhere in this country watching my webcast right now, go find out what it costs to fly into Milwaukee or into Chicago on those dates and come to my seminar, man. My seminar is intense. It is a seminar and it's life-defining, I promise you. So it's free. There will be lunch and refreshments, quite possibly an adult beverage or two. We'll see. International audience, thank you for watching. Peeps in the Philippines, you know we love you. That's right. Guys, I want your questions. We got a lot of tours coming up, man. Our summer season is coming, right? Summer is nuts. Summer is intense. You know, our tour in Ukraine in July, I believe I'll be leading the tours in Ukraine in July. I think I've yet to confirm that, but there's probably a very good chance that's going to happen. And yeah, tours in July. 50, 60 guys each time, easily. Good heavens. Good heavens. And then we have tours coming up to Cebu in August. We've got tours coming up between now and the end of the year. We'll be in Thailand. We'll be in Colombia in a couple of cities, right? We've got that great Miss Colombia pageant tour coming up in Cartagena in October and November. We have, of course, tours to Ukraine, Costa Rica, China, the Philippines. Man, we love to go to the Philippines. I work with a handful of incredibly nice girls from the Philippines. And these girls and their husbands are some of the nicest couples I've ever seen. There was another couple that came by yesterday at my Houston seminar. And a young lady named Jelly, her very nice and very handsome husband. What a cute couple. And he was in his 60s and she was in her 20s. And I'm just happy that two people met each other, right? They just seem incredibly happy together. And Jelly just mesmerized my seminar for a little while, just telling her story about how the two of them met and her journey to America, etc. So, you know, it's just incredibly enriching to find two people who were lonely and had nobody who suddenly have each other and they're incredibly happy together. So that's what this is about. So what are your questions, guys? Are you ready? If you're ready for me, I'm ready for you. Guys, I got homework for you. You ready? And I mean it. I want you, when this is over, I want you to go listen to a song by a band called Switchfoot, Christian band, I believe, and the song is called "Dare You to Move." I want you, right? The song is my mantra, man. I get up and go to the health club or go to the gym, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night. It's probably the first song I'm going to listen to because it sets the mood, right? If you stand still, nothing comes to you. If you stand still, you know, you're just in this constant state of paralysis. The air around you is stagnant. Nothing is in motion. Your energy is dead. Take a step. Take another step. Take a series of steps. Whatever your goal is, start walking to lose 10 pounds. Whatever it is, get on a plane to go and meet somebody to take care of your life. Get up, learn a new skill, do something. But if you want a change in your life, the first step is to get up and move. And you got to hear this song. It will inspire you, all right? The band is called Switchfoot, Dare You to Move. Check it out. Homework. I'm not playing. All right, guys, here we go. Questions. Let's have them. David says, if a lady signs the IMBRA form, the IMBRA form is the International Marriage Broker Regulation Act form, which requires us to ask you questions. We're required by law to ask you questions about your background, receive those answers, and make sure that every woman that you come in contact with through our site receives that information. And that's basically the IMBRA law and the IMBRA process. And any agency like us that's based in America is bound to that law. It doesn't matter where you, the client, are from. Anyway, David says, if a lady signs my IMBRA form acknowledging his background information, are you able to exchange contact information through your phone translation service? Answer is no, you are not. You're not going to exchange any contact information with these women until you get on a plane to go and see them. There are several reasons for that are probably really boring, but just so you know, that's the deal, guys, right? You're not going to get contact information from these women until you get on a plane and go and see them. And I know that really angers a lot of guys, right? I want to be able to contact these women directly, and I completely understand that. That is a very, very natural request. Totally understood. You won't find very many agencies out there that are going to let you do that. And there are several reasons for it. One of them are privacy reasons, because the women, you know, would be a little selective about when they give their information out. Obviously, if she signs your form and acknowledges your background, there's no problem there. But the bigger reason is that the vast majority of women that come to websites like ours and ours are not coming on their own and submitting their own profiles by themselves. They're coming by way of people who work out there in the streets, Independent agencies, independent local operators, if you will, we call them affiliates. And everybody in my business that you've ever heard of uses many, many, many affiliates because the affiliates are really good at connecting with a lot of women. And, they go out and they convince the women to join a marriage agency, and sometimes, the women resist the idea. I don't know, a marriage agency, socials, I don't know. Do I want to come and be one of 300 women? And our representatives, our affiliates will say, you know what, here's what's really going on. Yes, there will be a lot of women at the social events, but we actually will bring groups of men to the social events. Nobody does that. It's really great to be able to have the opportunity on a Friday night or a Sunday night, come to an extremely nice party, a socials party, a single party, and just meet some nice people and hopefully find somebody really special. And the women will say, well, I've heard that some of the guys that travel abroad, they're not realistic, or they're not polite, or they're not friendly. And our affiliates will say that's true, but most of them are good guys with good hearts and good behavior, and they're gentlemen, and they're lonely just like you. Why not give it a try? And then they'll talk the women into giving it a try, and the women will post their profiles, and the agencies will do their best to represent them and help them to meet somebody. And those agencies, and again, anybody who does what we do that you've ever heard of uses them on some level, because there's no other way to get a database of hundreds and thousands of women. There just isn't. Anyway, those agencies need to get paid. They're like real estate brokers with incredibly nice houses, thousands of them that need to get sold, and you guys are buyers trying to find the right house. And that's just the relationship and the dynamic of the business, guys. So we don't release the personal contact information, because when we do that, we cut the real estate broker out of the deal, and you know how they feel about that. There's an honest answer to your question, my friend, so at least you'll know what to expect, right? My friend Petey says he's going to Ukraine in July. Well, Pete, I believe I'll see you there. It was recommended to travel a day early to be fresh for the social on the 18th. So I'm flying out on the 16th. Good. Yep. Okay, great. Will somebody be there to take me to the host hostel or hotel? Hostel, good heavens, from the airport. All right, so Pete's on a tour in July. He wants to arrive a few days early, and he's asking, will somebody pick me up at the airport? And the answer is absolutely. Yeah, whenever, dude. If you're on our tour, we'll be very happy to pick you up whenever you arrive. So just make sure we have your your flight information, and we'll be very happy to do that. Guys, we're looking at one of our social parties from Odessa, Ukraine. Look at the eye contact on our client, right? Look at how the women are all trying to catch his attention. They're all trying to talk to him. They're trying to flirt with him. That's a little bit young, but very cute crowd. And everybody's having fun, which is the idea. Nice. Keep in mind, these are people who just met. I always like to point that out. When you see people getting along and having so much fun, they just met 15, 20 minutes ago. Isn't that a great dynamic? Look at the eye contact of these very, very beautiful women. A lot of you have told me it's very hard to meet beautiful women. It's just hard sometimes. I mean, if they want to meet you, then they will. And if they don't, then it's kind of hard to say hello and introduce yourself. In our culture, in our environment, a lot of guys have expressed that. I think that's just something that's kind of typical in our environment. Beauty, women who are beautiful have no lack of opportunities to meet somebody. Sometimes it's a little difficult just to introduce yourself to somebody that you see in a situation, but I'll tell you what, women around the world, very easy to talk to, very easy to approach. Women, men, people around the world. It's amazing, honestly, but some cultures are just so easy to be around and be with. And so here you see that, right? Here you see how easy it is to meet them, to talk to them, to introduce yourself to the women in this environment. This is a singles party, guys. This is a social for you. We're throwing the party. The women are our guests. It's incredibly easy to meet them and talk to them. Yeah, check it. Sly, what's up, my man? K. Ross, do they accept black guys like me? I believe they do, my friend. Just go. Don't worry about it. Why do you think I get letters from women in their 20s when I'm in my 60s? Because the agencies that represent these women in their 20s, Vito, are going to say, here's a guy named Vito. We don't know anything about Vito. Now I've met you, Vito, and I happen to know you're a very nice guy and you're very realistic. But the agencies that have been doing this for a long time are going to go, if Vito is like 99% of the tens, thousands of guys that come to our website, he doesn't want anybody even remotely close to his age. He's chasing an unrealistic fantasy and he wants girls in their 20s. And so we're going to throw some intro letters out there to him from girls in their 20s because we're pretty sure that's what Vito wants. Is that the best thing for Vito, one would ask? And one would argue probably not, so I would just ignore it. Right to the women. Guys, look, Screw the intro letters, right? Just forget them, for crying out loud. Some guys like them, some guys don't. We existed for so many years without the intro letters. The intro letters are going to be given to you by agencies who think they know what you want based on what everybody else wants. Agencies will tell me if you have clients in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and we try and introduce them to women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, we'll go out of business because clients don't want that. Clients are chasing unreal fantasies, so many of them. What they want is the girl who's 35, 40 years younger than they are. And that's just completely silly, but we'll all go out of business if we don't try and help them to at least correspond with some of these women. And you know what? Agencies are absolutely correct, because that's what tens of thousands of silly guys do. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've always told you in the 20 years that I've been doing this. Don't do that. Don't waste your time with women that are too young. And when they tell you they don't have a problem with your age, don't believe them, because you will not find many men out there in their 50s and 60s married to women from Ukraine or from China, or from Colombia, or wherever, in their 20s. There are some exceptions, but exceptions are exceptional. You will find men who are married to women in their 30s and 40s who are stunning and beautiful, late 20s maybe. Just do that. It makes the most sense for you and for her. Go to the search engine, find the women that you want to write to, keep it age appropriate, write to them, they'll write you back, and everything will be cool. So yeah. Asser says, I'm in Canada. What are my chances of meeting at least 3 of the women if I travel to Ukraine on a vacation on my own? Well, Asser, the thing is, there's no exact science. So if you travel to Ukraine and think, I've got 3 women that I want to meet, can I meet those 3 women? I have no idea, to be honest with you. We have about 16,000 women in Ukraine right now. And if you pick 3 who are realistic for you, realistic in age difference, for example, if you pick 3 and we call them up, and they can get away to meet you, and they'd like to meet you, and they're as interested as you are in them, who knows? I would think, typically when guys have a list of women they want to meet, if the list is realistic, they're going to meet about half the women on that list. Maybe a little bit more than that, but usually about half if the list is realistic. If the list isn't realistic, then it's completely up for grabs, right? So I would definitely not travel to Ukraine just to meet 3 women. If in the entire country of Ukraine or in any given city there are only 3 women that you want to meet, I'd probably open up your criteria a little bit, because I'd worry, Asser, that you're not being realistic. Go to Ukraine with a list and just start from the top of the list, right? You'll definitely get 3 dates, 4 dates, 6 dates, however many dates you want. We'll work the list for you if that's what we need to do. No problem, right? It's just not an exact science where every girl that we call up is free and available and mutually interested. It's a pretty good situation. A lot of the people that we'll call will be interested, but I don't want to mislead you. Again, it's not going to be 100%. Sly, thank you, brother. Guys, we're answering your questions about international dating and marriage, how to meet the women in videos like this. And we've got video from all over the world. We can look at other things. But right now we're looking at Ukraine because we have some big popular Ukraine tours coming up in July, right? So we just want you to see the environment that's available to you. You could be in this video. You could literally follow up this webcast by making an arrangement to come on the tour, making a deposit, buying the tour, calling me up, whatever. Come to my seminar in Chicago on the 25th. Come to my other free seminar in Milwaukee on the 26th, make a deposit, pay for the tour, find yourself in this exact place in July. We'll use this same exact environment in July. So we'll have a tour and a social in this exact venue, and you could be there, and a lot of these women are going to be there, so you could literally put yourself in this exact venue and meet some of these lonely women who want to meet you and find their guy. We're answering questions around that. Now, some of you are interested in Colombia, which you should be. Some of you are interested in the Philippines. Great. Is Rana on deck this week, Kirk? Do you know?
Yes.
All right, so we have Rana, who is one of the wives of one of the gentlemen that we work with, and she's a cute thing, isn't she? I'm sorry, that was kind of sexist, but she is. She's very cute. I don't think Rana would be offended by that. She's very, very adorable. She's got a great personality. She'll be here Wednesday night, same time, same place, from the Philippines, just answering questions about how to meet beautiful women from the Philippines, Philippine culture, the courtship process, etc. So those of you with an eye toward the Philippines, we can certainly talk about some of that tonight. But my friend Rana will be here live with a webcast for you, same time, same place, Wednesday night, to show you some great video of our social parties in the Philippines and answer some of those questions. So yeah, let's do it. Josh says the women are unbelievably beautiful. Yes, they are. They seem way out of my league. Well, I don't know about that, Josh. Why on earth would they settle for someone like me? Well, they're not going to settle, Josh, first of all. But the point is that women, whether they're from China or Ukraine or Thailand or the Philippines, whether they're from Costa Rica or Peru or Colombia, whatever brings the women here, there are very specific influences in their culture, in their environment, in their city, which make it very difficult for them to find a guy they can marry. You know, a guy who is available. First of all, in Ukraine and Russia, there's a severe shortage of men who are available for marriage. And then is he productive? Is he sober? Is he healthy minded? Is he emotionally balanced? Is he respectful of women? You know, it's just hard for women to find those kinds of men. It's not hard in our culture for women to find men. It's not hard for men to find women. It's just finding somebody that, you know, you like, that you're attracted to, who has the qualities and criteria you're looking for. I use that word criteria loosely, guys, but you know where I'm going with that, right? And if it's difficult for you to meet somebody, it's amazing if you're just willing to fly your plane to a really cool place somewhere in the world where there are a lot of tourists and a lot of people hanging out. You can meet some very, very beautiful single women. Many women, Josh. Some of the women in these videos, I guarantee you, they haven't had a date in a long, long time. They'd probably be really embarrassed to tell you how long it's been since they had a really good date or a chance for romance or a romantic relationship. So you show up, you're a good guy, you take care of yourself enough, you know, you got good self-esteem, you're emotionally balanced, you're positive, you smile, you're friendly, good sense of humor, and you're reliable, and you can bring somebody into your life reliably. It's exactly what these women are looking for, because that is exactly what's missing from their lives. So it's all about that, man. We just get you in front of these women and let the magic happen. But don't you think for a second that you're not worthy, because you certainly are. You just gotta go. Take a Chicago Bears hat, someone's telling me, when I do my thing in Chicago. You mean I can't wear my Patriots jersey? Dang! All right, here we go. What is the best gift to bring a lady in the Philippines? Asks Mark. I'll tell you what, Mark. The women in the Philippines are so down to earth, man. So down to earth. I can't imagine there's anything that you could bring that wouldn't be appreciated. So, you know, what's your inclination, right? Perfume, if you buy a very nice perfume, something, for example, the perfume counter at Macy's, just as an example, I mean, perfume's always great. If you get to the Philippines and you know, take a girl shopping for, this is not something I would do everywhere, but in the Philippines you could do it very, very easily. Just take her shopping for, you know, whatever. Let her take her, have her nails done. The women in the Philippines love to have manicures and pedicures. Drop them off for an hour and a half or so, and you know, just something like that makes them feel, you know, very happy and very special. Alcohol probably I would rule out, but some good chocolate definitely. You know, something from Bath and Body Works, something just kind of nice and simple like that. Yeah, man. When I say take a girl shopping, just, you know, for some clothing, some basic clothing, you know, I just want to buy you a nice dress. I just want to buy you a couple of nice dresses. You could do that in the Philippines very, very easily and very, very affordably. And, you know, that may or may not be something I'd recommend doing, you know, right up front with somebody in the Ukraine, but in the Philippines, it wouldn't really be a huge problem. I think for the most part, guys, cosmetics are always nice, but they're very, very subjective, right? So you have to be careful what you're purchasing. But perfume is always good. I mean, perfume is also very, very subjective. But if you're buying, you know, something really designer and really nice that you're probably going to spend at least $100 on, girl in the Philippines has never had anything like that. In most cases, she's going to really, really love that, right? Doug is asking, in Ukraine, do they celebrate Mother's Day? Great question. They do not celebrate Mother's Day on our Mother's Day, but they are aware that in America it is Mother's Day. So if you happen to say, hey, in America it's Mother's Day, I just want to extend my congratulations to you or show my appreciation to you because I know you're a mom, she'll be absolutely flattered that you thought to do that. Great questions, guys. Green box right above me. Send your questions about international dating, marriage, anything you want to talk about under that umbrella, our tours, our programs, the video that you're watching, what do you want to know? I'll do my best to let you have it for the next 35, 40 minutes or so. Charles says, sorry, Charles. He's got a hot list after viewing the profiles of many ladies at our website. Great. Looking at the list, many of the ladies are from Ukraine and are 25 plus years younger. Oh! What should I do? I find many of the ladies closer to my age rarely even smile in their photos. The younger ladies are also more optimistic, which I prefer. So Charles, this is always a tough thing for me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to tell you, go for it, Charles. Just date the really, really young girls. The problem is if the girls in Ukraine are in their 20s, and that's 25 years younger than you are, that's probably going to be the biggest time waster of your life. So what do I do, Charlie? Do I tell you what you want to hear? Or do I give it to you tough love style? Look, here's what I would do, Charles. If you want to go, look, I hear guys, let's think about the logic for a second, but I want to meet women who are really, really young because of this or because of that. Great, that's what you want. What do they want? All right, what do the women who are 25, 26 want if you're going to be over the age of 50? And this is true in Colombia, this is true in everywhere but the Philippines. In the Philippines, women are pretty wide open when it comes to age difference. Everywhere else we go, there are some expectations. What the women have told me in Ukraine for years and years and years, what they've told me is we have no problem if a guy is older as long as we're from the same generation. In other words, he's got to be younger than my father. If he's older than my father, he may be nice, he may be interesting, he may be fun to hang out with, it may be great to eat pizza and go bowling with him, but am I going to be physically attracted to this guy who's older than my dad? That's what they have told me. And this is where it becomes a bit of a problem. I have guys that go abroad and they meet really, really young girls in Ukraine, girls in their 21, 22, 23. They are used to being pursued by men much, much older than them. They use that opportunity to go out on dates, buy sushi, buy shoes, get iPhones and whatever. And it rarely ever amounts to anything the least bit romantic or relationship oriented. They just like the attention. So when you ask them, do you have any problem with my age? I'm at least 25 years older than you are. They're going to say absolutely not. There's a ... after that, and the ... is we're just not going to get romantic. Now, you ask a girl, do you have any problem with my age? Do you see us getting romantic? Do you think you could fall in love with me and nothing would stand in the way of us being romantic? And she says yes, then that's great. Then you go and hang out with her. Don't buy her a thing until she proves that that is the case, my friend, right? But what I will tell you is that in my 26 tours to Ukraine, I've never seen anybody in their 50s marry anybody in their 20s, right? And the women who are in their 30s, mid-30s, late 30s, 40s, they easily look 5, 7, 10 years younger than their actual age. They're stunning and beautiful and nobody's paying any attention to them at all. So what I would say is if you really want to meet those younger girls, Charles, then go and meet them, but also meet women who are older, make it an even ratio, and you'll find what you're looking for. There's no doubt about it, right? There will be somebody who's never late for your dates, who's as responsive to you as you are to her, who's clearly as interested in you romantically as you are with her, who doesn't give you any room for doubt at all. And if she's 25, good for you. More than likely, she's going to be 34 or 35. And still good for you. All right, Mike loves the webcasts. Mike, you know what? I'm thankful. Do all the women who attend the socials sign the IMBRA form? Yes, they do. For all the men attending the social, or do they pick and choose? No, they sign one IMBRA form which summarizes all of the IMBRA information that we're required to give them for all the men. In other words, a girl walks to the social. She shows up. She stops at the registration desk. She must register. She has to have been invited. She's on our invite list. We'll say, great, we've got you. Here you are. Here's a name tag. Now, here is a form we need you to read and sign. She will read a form which summarizes the required IMBRA information of every guy on the tour, and then she signs it and then comes into the social. That's how that goes, just so you know. Thoughts on having alcohol drinks at the social is good or not, asks my man Sly. You know, I kind of like it, Sly. I really do. I think it's, you know, look, first of all, there are some cultures where the drinking is really light. In Colombia, you know, the women are not going to drink a lot. In the Philippines, the women won't drink at all, so there's no alcohol at the socials in the Philippines. In Ukraine and Russia, people will go out to dinner and have a glass of champagne or a glass of wine. It's very, very common for them to do that. It's very much a part of the culture, pretty much like it is a part of this culture, right? And, you know, we're throwing a party, and the purpose of the party, guys, is to make you look good, in case you didn't know it or not. You know, the reason we have food and champagne and entertainment and a really nice environment is so that you don't look cheap, because the women aren't going to be impressed if you purchased a tour and you look cheap, because we look cheap, right? We represent you, so we're always going to throw a really, really good social environment. And of course, there will be champagne and a little bit of it. So I really have no problem with it. I will tell the guys who are going to the socials, just watch your alcohol, be a little bit careful. You know, you've been traveling, you're a little tired. If you haven't had a chance to eat, it's going to catch up to you. If you get a little tipsy before the social, you're going to lose your effectiveness and you won't be able to recover it by the time the social is over. But other than that, have fun. Have tremendous fun. That's why we're there. Nick says he's going to come in July for a couple of days ahead of the tour. Will the offices be open, and would it be possible to arrange some dates 1 or 2 days prior to the social? Nick, if you're on our tour and you are our tour client and you want to arrive a few days early, we probably can accommodate you with a few dates. We're probably going to charge you for that. If you are not part of our tour, then we're probably not going to be able to host you because quite frankly, the 2 weeks before a tour in July with 60 clients on it, it's going to be crazy. It's like being behind the scenes on Broadway on opening night. So we probably won't be able to do that. But what I would have you do, Nick, if you want, just write me an email, bud@loveme.com, and specify if you're on my tour or not. Forgive me, I don't have my list in front of me. And what exactly you're trying to accomplish. I won't assume too much. I'll go to the gods of a foreign affair and ask them if we can do this or not, and I'll let you know exactly what they say, okay? And I hope we can be accommodating. We'll just have to see what the circumstances are. All right, guys, appreciate your questions very much. Let me have them. Green box right above me. It's great talking about Ukraine. We can talk about anywhere we go if you want. You know, we go to China, Thailand. We have tours coming up in Thailand, China, the Philippines, Costa Rica, Peru, Colombia, some great destinations in addition to Ukraine. How much is a difference of religion when it comes to dating a Ukrainian woman? Well, you know, there are different levels of faith, I guess. So some women will tell you that they're very involved in their church. Some women will tell you that they're not as involved, but they identify with a particular faith. I would probably suggest that multiple faith marriages where the women are from Ukraine are probably not that uncommon. You know, probably not that uncommon at all. However, I think there's an excellent chance that a woman from Ukraine is going to be Russian Orthodox. She identifies as such, she wants to stay as such, and has no interest or desire to change. So you may be needing to, you know, be very respectful of that. I know in Thailand, the majority of women are going to be Buddhists. They're not going to change that. So you just have to go, into a tour to Thailand, or for some of you, if you're not particularly religious, if you will, and you go to a place like the Philippines or Colombia where the women are, they're Catholic women. They were, born into it, raised into it, happy to be it, don't want to change it. And we're not going to change that. And we have no right to change that, to be honest with you. We have absolutely no right to ask somebody to just completely change their religion for us, because that's very much a part of their identity. So as long as you're okay and you're cool and you accept that, and you don't want to change somebody's religious orientation, you just want her to be able to handle yours, I think that's great. If you feel, nope, we need to be the same religion so we can raise a family, in that way, I completely understand that. You're just going to want to search and go to the places where women identify with your specific faith, right? Great question, man. B Fuse says, when you planning to come to LA for a seminar? We just did one a little while ago, but we'll definitely do another one because that was a darn good one. I'm thinking August, September, my friend. Maybe October, but we'll definitely be out there for you for sure. Wow, that looks cool. Little rafting trip. Nice. Brad says, what is the number to get in, please? There is no number, Brad. But is it possible for a shy guy like me to meet beautiful Filipino girls during a Philippine tour? Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely, Mark. In fact, it's really quite possible for shy guys to meet women everywhere we go, but especially in the Philippines where, number one, the women speak English. That's a huge advantage. Number two, they themselves, Philippine culture is a very, very modest and humble culture. They themselves will be a little bit shy to meet us, the visitors, the romantic visitors in their country. I think our staff, quite honestly, talks the girls up and says, girls, look, some of these guys are going to be really, really shy, but they're here. They came so far to meet you, and they really, really want to meet you. So it may be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but I want you to be a little bit out of the box tonight. Don't be afraid to say hi to somebody and make the first move and take that initiative and just help the guys to come out of their shell. We see it in our videos from our socials. I was showing video footage from a couple of our socials in the Philippines at my seminars this weekend in Texas. And in the span of the video in the Philippines, you could see at the beginning of the social, guys were shy, barely getting up, barely moving around. By the end of the social, they're up, they're moving around, they're dancing, they're having a great time. In the span of a 4-hour social, they came completely out of their shell and were able to relax and just enjoy themselves. And we love to see that. Mark, I'm telling you, we got this. Another way to help guys who are shy, whether it's the Philippines or anywhere else, when you attend one of our social parties in any tour, anywhere we go, 7 countries around the world, we're going to give you a staff matchmaking interpreter for the night. That means it's going to be your partner's job. It's usually a young lady. It's going to be her job to make sure you get around the room, meet the women you want to meet, speak easily with anybody you want to speak to, arrange dates, and get out of that social with as many dates as you want. And we pump up our interpreting staff your matchmaking staff before every social and tell them, girls, do not let these guys get out of here without dates. If you get a shy guy, you take the initiative to help him get comfortable and make sure he's getting dates. So lots of help and lots of support to make sure you're going to be effective there, man. Guys, appreciate your questions very much. Good discussion tonight. How do women on your site, JF is asking, register at the office example, St. Petersburg, Russia? I'm not sure I understand the question, my friend. But essentially, they can go to the office in St. Petersburg, the very first office we opened in 1994, and it's still there. Great city to go to, guys. By the way, if you want to go and meet beautiful women, our staff will be happy to work with you there. So they can go to our office, fill out a form, bring their identification, because we always verify that the women are who they say they are. We need to know that you are who you say you are, that you definitely want to join a marriage agency and have your profile on the internet, you know what's involved there. And we verify their age, of course. So they just come to our office and our staff will work with them and then help them to put their profile up on our site so you can meet them. Drummer, Chicago. What is the average age of the girls in Odessa at the meeting? There will be about 350 women at our social in Odessa. Half of them will be under the age of 30. Half of them will be over the age of 30 most of the time. Drummer, get yourself to my seminar on the 25th, dude. Chicago, 11 to 3. It's a free seminar. Guys, if you're coming to my seminars in Chicago or Milwaukee, 11 to 3. Chicago, the 25th of May. Milwaukee, the 26th, 11 to 3 each time. RSVP bud at loveme.com. Bud like buddy. RSVP for me so I can get a proper head count, make sure we have enough seats, nobody standing in the back or sitting in the lobby. Plenty of food and beverages and stuff like that. Right? Right. Did I understand? Derek is so sharp. Slide Derek. Did I understand Bud correctly? Did he say do not write letters? Listen, guys, here's the deal. Absolutely don't write letters. Just don't do it. I know that men are going to do that. In fact, what's really great about our business is that we can tell many of you, do not write letters for a year and spend $10,000 getting absolutely nowhere and doing nothing. We could tell you that all day long because we have told you that all day long because that's what the industry does. That's what so many men are doing. This industry thrives on selling that idea to you guys. Stay home, write letters, chat into oblivion, don't get up. Don't go get your real girl. You're busy, dude. Come on, you got stuff going on. You're under pressure. It's expensive. These girls aren't going anywhere. They're very happy after a 12, 14-hour workday. They just sit there and chat into oblivion with you for 6, 7, 8 months. Absolutely, they love that. Of course they're not looking for a real man. Of course they have no expectations that you should ever get on a plane and come and meet them. Dude, you're fine. Stay right there and keep spending your money. That's what this industry says to you guys, and you guys buy it. In big numbers, right? I mean, this industry is worth tens of millions of dollars because of men who are sitting there and writing letters. Look, writing letters, introducing yourself to somebody before you get on a plane and go and meet them internationally is a very, very understandable and typical idea. We're watching video footage, by the way, from an incredibly fine group of men that I had on tour with me in July of last year in Ukraine. I don't want you to do that. If you'd like to write a few letters and get your butt on a plane and go and meet somebody, great. I totally want you to do that. I do not want you to write letters into oblivion, spend all the money you could spend in a year that you could spend to get on a plane and go and meet somebody and have a real girl and a real love relationship. I want you to do that. I want you to get on the plane and go and meet somebody, all right? Because that's where the real love is, guys. I want you to believe that you're worthy of it. I want you to believe that you can handle it. I want you to believe that you deserve it, that you're going to get on that plane and go and get your girl. Look, when I do a tour, it's funny. I did a seminar this weekend, right? You know, and sometimes I go to a city. Texas is one of our big markets. We have so many clients in Texas. And I had a good number of guys at my seminars, but it was a drop in the bucket compared to the number of guys who were in Texas who are customers of ours. And yet there I am in the middle of a seminar, and there are guys within a 50-mile radius of Houston and San Antonio sitting at home on loveme.com writing letters to women. And as they're writing the letters, the profile actually advertises right now there's a live seminar downtown in your city and it's free, and they don't go to it because they don't need the information. They're in their virtual love comfort zone. I do not want you to do that. Everybody in this industry wants you to do that. So please, please, please don't do it. Just go put yourself in this video. Tell yourself you deserve more than just a correspondent. You deserve your best friend, your lover, your life mate, and go get her, because we really like it when you do that. All right, anyway. Dean says, do you ever have live musicians at your social? Sometimes we do. I play guitar and sing and would love to perform for the lovely women of Ukraine when I go on a tour. Well, Dean, I'm not sure what to think about that, my friend. I'm not saying it's not possible. Maybe what you can do is you can send a demo to us. I'll show it to the gods. And if the gods think that it's appropriate for that to happen at our social, then maybe we can work something out. But I hear you, man. I feel you. I do. Where do Filipinas like to go and where to go for fun, says Brian. You know what? Dating girls in the Philippines is an incredibly fun, laid-back, easy experience. You can go walk on the beach. You can eat ice cream. You can go out for pizza. You can go bowling. You can go to a movie. You can do absolutely anything, and they're just happy to be with you doing whatever you want to do. Go to the beach. Go to the great resorts they have in every city in the Philippines. There's some really, really beautiful resorts, every city on the beach. Just go and hang out, take in some sun. Yeah, I mean, go to the mall. As I said, they love to have their nails done. So take a girl, let her hang out, have her nails, manicure, pedicure, let her have that done because they just enjoy having that done. You can go hang out for a little bit, come back. Any of the above is great. There are nice restaurants, there are nice lounges, there are karaoke bars. Women all over the world love to karaoke. If you can sing, they love it. So don't be afraid of that either, right? All right, guys, I'm going to get your questions. I appreciate them very much. We're watching some great video footage from social parties that were done in July of last year. This looks like a tour that I was leading in July, I believe. So, yeah. All right. Here we go. I got to get some more questions in. Doug says, I want to set up a phone call to a young lady on her birthday or near her birthday. I know the time difference may not be exact. She lives in Ukraine. Okay, so Doug, here's what you do. Next to every girl's profile is a box that says, call me now. You may not have noticed it because it's kind of sandwiched in with a bunch of other boxes, but it's there. So click that box and fill that form out. And that will allow you to make a scheduled translated phone call. We'll call the girl up and we'll say, Doug wants to talk to you. You've been writing to Doug, he wants to talk to you. So he's given us 3 or 4 times that work for him. Will one of these work for you? Yes, this time, great. I'll confirm it with Doug and we'll talk to you on Saturday at 9. And then Saturday at 9 comes around, our translator gets you on the phone, gets her on the phone, and the two of you can start talking to each other. And you can do that with women all over the world on our website, guys. So I'm telling you, that's a nice option for guys. It's interesting that guys rarely use it. All right, we'll write to somebody for 6 months and it never occurs to us to pick up the phone, arrange a translated phone call so we can just say hi, let them hear our voice, hear their voice. It's a very cool and romantic thing to do, guys. And the women are usually shocked when you want to talk to them because most guys don't do that. So great option, guys. The Call Me Now button right next to her profile. Whew, all right. All right, guys, I'm going to try and get all these questions in. Suddenly you guys have come to life. David says, what kind of privacy is there? Is there a way to go on a tour where I don't show up on the tour footage? I have a medical... Yeah, David, don't worry. If you don't want to be in the tour footage, you just make sure you let us know, and we will blur you until you're completely unrecognizable or just leave you out. For the guys who don't want to be on video at all, I usually put a red dot on their name tag or on their back or someplace. Anybody with a camera will see that, and they won't go anywhere near you, I promise. So no worries about that, all right? No worries, David, I'm telling you. How does that work with the IMBR paperwork if she doesn't attend the social and you want to meet her? When we arrange a date for you and a girl outside of the social, she will sign the IMBR form before your date. That means her interpreter may show up with it. She may come to the hospitality suite where our staff is in the hotel to sign the form, but every girl will sign an IMBR form for you. Every girl you meet on any tour, anywhere in the world, is going to have that IMBR form signed because it's required of us to do it. So no worries, we'll make sure it's done for you. Whew. Joe says, how many women are expected at the socials in Colombia? Really all over the world, Joe, not only Colombia, but everywhere that we go. The ratio that we shoot for is about 7 or 8 women per guy. That's completely absurd. But the reason we do it is we always have a lot of women locally and they want to come. And so we just want to include as many of them as possible. Of course, we want to give you a really ample opportunity to meet somebody as well. You can't just travel halfway around the world and meet 1 or 2 people. It's just not going to be enough. So we want you to have an ample opportunity to find people you want to meet, and we want to bring as many as we can to give the women as much of an opportunity as we can. It's usually 8 or 9, but it gets to be as much as 10 women per guy. And what we usually have are 12 or 15 guys on our tour, sometimes 20 in Colombia. So you're looking at anywhere, from 100 to 200 women, just depending on the number of men on the tour, right? Great question, my friend. All right, guys, great questions. I'm going to keep rolling with you. Vito says, if a woman has children, does that allow you to consider a lady a few years younger than you might ordinarily? Well, so look, the argument might be that, sure, but she's only 24 or 25, but she already has a child. So is she more mature than women who don't have children who are 25? And the answer to that is, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I really don't know. So if a woman is a single mom, is she more mature than somebody who's not? In some cases, probably. In some cases, probably not. I think it's going to really depend on the individual, right? But I have seen a lot of men, Vito, in their 50s and 60s go to Ukraine. 26 tours I've done, my friend. That's a lot. That's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of guys. I've met many men in their 50s and 60s trying to date women in their 20s, especially their younger 20s, who were single moms, but nobody got married, man, which means nobody got romantic. So yeah. All right. I'm just killing Vito's dream here, man. I'm just killing Vito's dream. Vito, date anybody you want to date, right? But just date some of the women that are, you know, a little bit up there, 35, 40, and what you'll find, I think what you'll find is that, you know, you're just going to meet women who are more responsive to you and ready to move the relationship forward. When I see guys in Ukraine dating women who are too young, here's what happens. You just keep dating. They're fun, they're friendly, they're cute, everything's great, nobody's trying to hurt you. Every now and then you'll get one that wants you to buy stuff, but for the most part, even that lately doesn't seem to really be the trend. The trend is you just keep going out on dates. You know, the girls don't even care where you go, but it never goes anywhere. So the 8th date is no different or better than the first date. It didn't get more romantic along the way. There's no hand-holding, cuddling, kissing, anything that would indicate after 8 dates that she's romantically interested in you. She's just willing to hang out with you whenever you want to hang out because she's bored, because there's nothing to do, because you're nice. And I see guys that do that, and they convince themselves that there's something romantic going on, because why else would she hang out with me for 6 dates or 7 dates, even though she's not ready to hold my hand yet? Yeah, anyway, look, I'm very passionate about the age issue, guys, right? And I offend people because of that. I'm not trying to offend you. When I go to socials like the one you're looking at right now, in fact, I guarantee you at least 10 times in the social footage you're looking at right now, that very social, I had women in their late 20s, 30s, and even 40s come up to me and say, where are all the men? Why are these men talking to all the young girls? Don't they want to meet somebody a little bit older, more mature, more serious? I do it time and time and time and time again. And then I get guys who are dating women that are too young, who go home empty-handed with no love, and I get plenty of women that are lonely and sad because nobody talked to them at the socials. I'm trying to change that. And you should listen to me because I'm in the know. All right. Jake says, am I able to bring my own interpreter to the social? Answer, no. Sorry, Jake, can't do it. David says, I've been on tour 20 years ago. Wife or not, it's definitely worth the experience. Right on, David. 20 years later, he still feels that way. I'm glad, my man. Josh says, having a good sense of humor is a big plus with foreign women. It is. It's everything. Women do not want to meet angry birds. Women, with the utmost respect, even though they're very, very compassionate, they don't care what you've been through. They don't want to hear about how much you hate your ex. Nobody wants to hear that. Later on, when they get to know you, they'll want to talk. They'll want to understand. They'll want to give you support. Absolutely. But in the beginning, look, women in our environment, women in Ukraine, women in the Philippines, women around the world often meet men who are not doing so well. They're not happy, and because they're not happy and they're depressed and despondent and whatever they are, they're not good husbands. They're not good mates. They're no fun to be around. They're all maintenance. They're big babies. The last thing women want is to meet more men like that. They want to meet the antithesis of that. They want to meet men who are happy, who are balanced, who are calm, who are fun, who can smile. Very, very important to them. Regarding women in Ukraine, how well does American humor translate? Well, you know, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. That's true. I'm prone to puns, but all cultures may not be a glutton for punishment. Josh, you crack me up. Tell you what, Josh, I'm really glad you asked that question, because I bet that most puns are not going to translate really, really well. So I would use that a little sparingly, I guess, right? But otherwise, any attempts at humor are generally very, very appreciated when you're dating these women, guys. Look, if you're going to laugh and smile, she's going to laugh and smile. If you're tense, she's going to be tense. She doesn't want to be tense, right? A lot of women think, hold the phone. There we were, Sly, right in the middle of it. Right there, man. Right there we go. A lot of women think they are prepared to enter a social with hundreds of other beautiful women. In reality, are most overwhelmed and nervous at first. I think that a lot of the women, first of all, a lot of the women at our social events have been to social events before because there aren't enough men. If I bring, for example, 40 guys on tour, it's usually, unless we're talking July, where there may be 60 guys on tour, it's usually about 30 guys on tour. So if I bring 30 guys on a tour, anywhere around the world, guys, China, the Philippines, Ukraine, it doesn't matter. You know, if we have 300 women at the social, and all 30 of my guys leave with 3 really solid dates that they're ready to act on, it's going to be 210 women going home without a date. Some of those 210 women are going to come back for another social and another try. And sometimes when I do the socials, I see the same women. They're very nice. There's nothing wrong with them. I really feel kind of sorry for them, even though they're not really pitiful. It's just that they never really seem to get their opportunity. But in America, they wouldn't cross the street without men trying to get their phone number. And that is the truth. That's why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. So, you know, are the women overwhelmed? I wouldn't say they're overwhelmed. I think that sometimes they're a little bit surprised by the sheer number of women at the social event. But again, we go completely out of our way to make sure everybody's comfortable. And you're looking at it, guys, right? You're looking at women in our socials right now. So, you know, they don't look shocked, right? They're curious, but we try and make them as comfortable as we can. Make sure there's food, champagne, juice, you know, whatever. A little bit of entertainment, a little bit of fun, and just give them a very, very nice night out. It's a great question, though. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, all right. Can you tell me where to look to see your tour offices for Europe? Our offices, James, are in Kiev, Ukraine, Odessa, Ukraine, and Nikolaev, Ukraine. Those are our European offices in the country of Ukraine, the cities of Kiev, Nikolaev, and Odessa. If you want to see our tour schedule, which shows you where our tours are going to be in Ukraine, that's at loveme.com in the menu on the right at the top. Mel says, I'm sure we'll talk more about it later, but I'm planning to give Peru a second chance in October. Wow, Mel, good for you. Was on a tour to Peru this year. Should he do socials only or do another full tour? I don't know, Mel. I could see you doing socials only, maybe. I could see that. We'll talk, my brother, okay? How many employees does AFA have? Derek says. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure, Derek, to be honest with you, because there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and I've been so busy in some areas. I don't do the hiring here. People above me and around the world do that. But if I were to venture a guess, how many people are actually on AFA's payroll? Good question. I mean, it's a real guess, to be honest with you. But around the world on our payroll, maybe 50 people, 60 people, something like that. People who work in our network, that's another story, right? People who work independently in our network, that's expanded. That's hundreds of people, quite honestly. All the guys on the tour would sit around before and after and talk about how crazy this was and if it was actually real. Yeah, David, you know, sometimes one of my favorite times on a tour is breakfast, because at breakfast I can always sit with the guys and they're just talking about what they did the night before, and they're talking about their dates and the crazy time they had, or we're talking about the social. Men are usually overwhelmed for a little bit at the social event, and then later on when they realize this thing is exactly what it's supposed to be, these are, you know, very real, legitimate women in this great social environment. It's incredibly easy to meet them and date them. They realize that this is just an incredibly fun thing and a great opportunity and very, very unique. And they love to talk and laugh about that. At breakfast the following day, I just love that. All right. David says, Anastasia was who I took a tour with 20 years ago, but it seems AFA is the only reputable ones offering the same kind of tour that I would want to take again. Good for you, David. Anastasia's not doing tours anymore. I wonder why. Do the women actually write the letters I receive, or are agencies representing the women writing the letters? Mark, so here's the deal. You know, your letters are going to be translated and delivered to somebody. When we deliver those letters, we're going to tell the girls, give us a response. The girls will say, can I call you later? Can I stop by? Can I send you an email later? And our staff is going to say, you can't do that. You got to let the guy, right now, you got to give him a response. We can't just leave the guy hanging. There are all kinds of women out there. You don't want him to lose interest. So while I've got you, tell me what you want. I'll translate it for you and we'll deliver it for you. And then he'll get a letter from you right away. And that's the process called express mail. We've got several hundred agencies around the world total who are conducting that process for us on a daily basis. Does somebody ever step away from our expectations and do something they shouldn't do? Absolutely. Sometimes that happens, and we'll hold people accountable when that happens. But the vast majority of letters that you're writing I'm assuming are getting translated and delivered by the same offices that are bringing those women to us. When I take guys on tour to Ukraine, guys are meeting women that they wrote to all the time. And every now and then there's an uncomfortable situation that I have to deal with, and that's just the nature of the beast. You know, we can't be in everybody's home and everybody's office, and you know there's no online community that can be 100% perfect. But tell you what, we sure give it a good try, my friend, on your behalf. And I think you'll find that most of the time the women who are writing you want you to get on a plane and come and meet them. And if you do that, you'll meet the women you're writing to, and it's all going to go well for you. Sly says, best to get in a room with hundreds of women and let the magic happen. That is correct. Looks like a high school dance. There's a girl for everyone. Well, yeah, there's about 10 for everyone. When is the next tour, says Don. Don, we have tours all over the place. The very next tour is on June 6th and is going to Peru, and which is a great destination, by the way. But we've got destinations all over the world, tours all over the world. If we're talking about Ukraine, there's some Peru for you, just like that. Isn't Kirk amazing, guys? Just mention the word. We will be in Peru on June 6th. My friend Mel from Chicago just mentioned how he enjoyed his last tour to Peru. If you are interested in women from Latin America, Lima, Peru is a great city. It's filled with tourists everywhere. That's some of our staff in Peru right there. Look at that. Very lovely, very classy environment for you to meet women from Peru, right? Get your butt to Peru, man. It's a great city. It's clean, it's beautiful, full of tourists, great restaurants. It's on the ocean. There's definitely an ocean culture, some great seafood restaurants, for example, beaches you can walk on, etc. Whew, all right. Guys, we've got a few minutes left, and I'm going to get as many questions in during that time as I can. Except I think I foobarred something here. Let's see. One more time. Sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm going to get more questions in, right? Sure I am. Here we go. Whoop, there you are. Come back. There we go. All right. I see many ladies from Playa del Carmen on your website. Is it possible for a guy to vacation in Cancun and meet the Playa del Carmen ladies? Yes, it is. How would a guy do that? Yep, the girls from Playa in Mexico are very, very popular. And if you want to go and meet them, you can. Write to me, bud@loveme.com. I will help you get in touch with our agency in Playa so that you can arrange those meetings. You bet. David's asking me, his truck is broken down. Can I swing by and pick him up on the way to the Milwaukee seminar? Only 4 hours north of Milwaukee. David, I would do it for you, man. I would do it for you. Road trip, buddy. I asked if the men are overwhelmed by the women, says Sly. Yeah, I think the men are. I think, you know, it's funny. When I grew up, I had a dog, lovely black Labrador. And I had a mean neighbor who promised if my dog ever crossed over to his property, he would shoot him or something like that. So I kept my poor black Labrador on a tether for several years whenever he was outside because I didn't want to, you know, risk that my mean neighbor would do something mean. And then my mean neighbor moved away. And on the day that my mean neighbor moved away, I took my dog outside, sans tether. I took the tether off and set him free. And I remember I expected him to run all over my yard with his newfound freedom. Instead, he just kind of sat there looking at me with this completely dumb look on his face like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? I don't get it. What do I do? He was just lost. Like, I don't get it. What are you doing? That is the exact look on the faces of men for the first 15 minutes of every social I've ever been to. They're just like, wow, what a paradigm shift. This is just not something that I've ever seen before. Wow. And they need a few minutes to soak it in. Speaking of soak, they're usually enjoying an adult beverage while they soak it in, just trying to relax. Some guys are really funny. Some guys step in the door and they're like, cool, and they're off, just like that. But most of us need a few minutes talking to our interpreter just to get comfortable and ready to meet a lot of very beautiful and friendly women, and it's all good. Dave says, I met you last year when we were in Orlando and attended John's seminar this past March. I purchased an open tour reservation with John. I sent an email to Michelle that I want to go to Shenzhen, China in November. Cool. Take me with you. Could you explain about the process from this point on? Will someone get back to me with information that I need to go forward? Yes. And Dave, since your tour is in November, we've got a little bit of time and we're entering into our summer season. So we've got you. You're on the board. You're going in November. There's no doubt about it. I would expect as soon as we get the July tours kind of up in the air, on their way, then we'll turn our sights toward the fall tours. So I would expect sometime toward the end of July, the beginning of August, you will have a steady stream of communication from us to prepare you for your November tour. Now, you're going to need a visa, and the website that we usually recommend for our clients is mychinavisa.com. So you may contact them whenever you're ready to begin the process. Go to mychinavisa.com and begin the process of applying for your visa. But we got plenty of time, my man. Plenty of time. You're in. You're definitely going to attend our tour in November in Shenzhen. We're very, very happy to host you. If you need anything, let us know. As we get closer to November, we'll have a few forms that we'll send you. We'll have an agenda that we'll send you. We'll do a conference call with all of the attendees of that tour just to share some best practices. Ken is one of our principals. Ken and I did a great orientation video for guys going to China, and we'll definitely send that to you. Now, if you want to get a jump on that, just write to me, bud@loveme.com, and I'll send you a link to that so you can go and watch it. It's very, very cool. A lot of really interesting things came out of that orientation video. Shenzhen is amazing. It's a very beautiful modern city, a lot going on. Sly says I blew your question. I'll make it up to you, buddy. Oh yeah, how can I meet women in Sumi or a city where there is no office? Says Al. I love Sumi, dude. I really do. It's a very, very interesting city. You can definitely meet women. And this is true in other places, Costa Rica, Colombia, China. You can meet women who are on our site from cities where we don't do tours. The process is probably, in your case, you'd want to write to them and ask after a few letters if they would be interested in meeting you. Would they be willing to come to a city like Kiev or Odessa or San Jose, Costa Rica or Cartagena while you go there? Would they be willing to meet you? If you make it all the way to Costa Rica, will they at least meet you in San Jose? If you make it to Kiev, will they meet you there? Ask them if they're comfortable doing that. If they are, then you can begin to work on that together. If for some reason they're not, then you make the choice of whether or not you want to go to their city to meet them. And then if you do, just let us know that the two of you are talking about it, and we'll find out a way to help you communicate together so you can put it together and make it happen, right? Call her up and talk to her after 5 or 6 letters, right? Just say, I'm very serious. I just want you to know. And a lot of guys say a lot of stuff they don't mean. I mean every word. I'm going to book my ticket. I'm going to make my arrangements. I definitely want to come to you and meet you and see you. And that can be done. On every tour that I do, Al, there are men that are going away from the tour itself to visit women that are in other cities, definitely. All right. Final question, guys, from my friend Vincent. Are there any benefits to visiting foreign affair offices in cities like Kiev? The answer is absolutely, sure. If you want to meet somebody, you can always stop by. Now, our offices are great. We have them doing a lot of stuff. We task all of our offices all over the world with a lot of stuff. And they're not really designed to have people just hanging around for walk-in traffic, even though most of the time it's probably not a big deal. But just to make sure someone's going to be available to answer your questions and give you what you need there, I'd recommend you set that up in advance. If you make an appointment for one of our offices to come by, talk to some of our staff, some of our matchmakers, and see if you can get some introductions to some ladies. Look, we have great staff. I mean, we hire very, very carefully. And some of the staff that we have are just first of all, very good matchmakers, very professional people, usually women. We got Gustavo down in Costa Rica, who's been there forever, and he's a great, great manager. And we've got great staff. They love what they do. They'd be very, very happy. If you're a nice guy and you're realistic, very, very happy to help you meet some of their women. And women are asking us all the time, where are the guys? Where are the guys? People in our offices abroad are constantly being asked, where are the guys? So when you show up, if you want dates, the staff will be very, very happy to work with you to arrange those dates. Don't think twice, dude. Don't think twice. If I say I am an astronaut, can I get more numbers at the socials? I think the women are going to be too smart for you, Sly, but they'll probably give you their number anyway. All right. Tom says, women's pictures look so good. Oddly enough, I feel unworthy of having someone so beautiful. Tom, let me tell you, I'm going to end our series of questions with that comment because someone else made a similar comment earlier. And here's the thing. That is what American culture does to you. American culture tells you that someone beautiful is not going to love you for real. That you can't have somebody that you love and admire and find attractive because you're not good enough, you don't make enough money, you're not tall enough, you don't look like Brad Pitt, you don't have Bill Gates' fortune, whatever it is. And that's just really sad. And not you're sad, but I mean, it's sad circumstances because it's such a great culture we are, right? Such a great country, no doubt about it. But it's sad that there are literally tens of thousands of men in every city in America who have nobody to talk to, nobody to give their love to, nobody to share their love with at night, nobody to wake up with in the morning, nobody to stay in bed with all day Sunday or take those great road trips or to create a family with. They have nobody. And on top of having nobody, they appear to have no options because nothing that they're trying is getting them anywhere. And I meet men all the time who have been alone for several years. What I'm going to tell you is absolutely true, my friend, which is in the Philippines, in Ukraine, in China, Thailand, Colombia, Peru, Costa Rica, and a good number of other countries, Russia, oh my goodness, all over the world, there are very, very many lonely women who are just like you. They're lonely, they're good people, they have good hearts, you know, they have families that they love, they have jobs that they do their best at, careers that they nurture, and they're responsible citizens, but they have no guy. And they haven't had a guy in a long time. They've resolved that they're just not going to have romance or that it's not likely to happen, and they go years without a date, just like you. And beauty is no commodity in any of these countries at all, guys. So they know that they're beautiful, but everybody's beautiful. So being beautiful doesn't make you necessarily special. When you travel to Colombia, the men, the women, the children, very, very beautiful race of people. I'm just saying. I always feel like I have to apologize for putting things so bluntly. I'm not sure why that is. That's probably our culture messing with me too. But dude, don't think twice. You've got plenty of value. Don't sit there and look in the mirror and do wrong by the guy in the mirror. The guy in the mirror is telling you that you're wrong about you. You've got it. You've got the stuff. You know, you've got a lot to offer. You're a good man with a good heart. You'd be a great friend. You'd be a great husband. You'd be a great life mate. And you need to listen to the man in the mirror and do something about that. Because you put yourself in this environment, if you're a good guy with a good heart, here's what it takes, guys. I say this all the time and it's absolutely true. If you are a good guy with a good heart, and I have guys tell me all the time that they're good guys with good hearts, but their behavior would lend to otherwise. But if you are a good guy with a good heart, good old-fashioned family values, a healthy respect for women in relationships. You're not here because you see women who are poor and desperate living in mud huts that you can seemingly take advantage of. You're a good guy with a good heart, good old-fashioned family values, a healthy respect for women in relationships. You can keep it real about age difference so that you in reality can be in the same zip code, right? You're not chasing some ridiculous fantasy. But if you're keeping it real about age difference, 10, 12, 15 years, maybe 20 years, maybe. If you can keep it real about age difference and you get your butt on the plane, I would put money on your success, my friend. I really would. That, by the way, that little description I just gave you describes about 10% of the men who actually do get on the plane, which is an incredibly small percentage of men overall. The opportunity is great for guys who fit that description. That's why I'm here. That's my message. Everybody's a beacon, right? Everybody out there in this business is a beacon. Everybody's got a message. Some are more negative than others, but everybody's got a message. When you find your beacon, tune into that beacon, follow that message, and go get your girl, right? Right. All right, guys, Wednesday night. If you're interested in learning more about the Philippines, and you should be, from everything that I've seen, the women in the Philippines are just amazing, just fabulous. Really love the ones that I work with and the ones that I've met. Rona is going to be here, right? Rona is a lovely young lady from the Philippines. She's married to one of our longtime employees, and they're a great couple and they have a great family. And she will be here on Wednesday night, same time, same place, to answer your questions about dating in the Philippines and marriage to a Filipina specifically. So that will be a Philippine-related webcast. We'll have some great video footage for you. Wednesday night, same time, same place. So check it out. We'll be back Monday night with another live webcast for you. Guys, if you can get to Chicago, I don't care where you are right now, if you can fly to Chicago, drive to Chicago, whatever, hitch a ride. If you can get to Chicago on Saturday the 25th or Milwaukee on Sunday the 26th, I will be doing a highly effective, dynamic seminar. It's free, 11 to 3, both days in those cities. You got to come to it. It's like a year's worth of Monday night, but it's going to be pretty intense, a little more intense than I can get in my webcast, right? So come to it. I'll have refreshments and food for you. It's free. You'll learn a lot. Save you a lot of money if you want to travel with us this year. RSVP bud@loveme.com. Thanks a lot. See you later. Have a great week.